by Rich, dated Tuesday, May 19th. Does anyone want any discussion?
I move to approve the minutes from
There's
last
a second? Yep. There a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Public comment, optional. Is there any, Lauren, do we have any? Is Gus with us or not?
You have no public right now.
Got it.
We even lost Gus.
Really? Couldn't spice it up enough for him. I'm sorry. We tried. So let's see, just kind of quickly going through the old business. So the deed restriction. So Peggy said she was going to put a little pressure on the lawyers to move that along. She understood that it had been delayed a little bit by the COVID, by distractions, but she does want to get them moving forward a little bit more timely. Obviously, they'll be probably discussed. Review of the engineering proposals. I talked to Peggy about, we were told we'd probably be coming in and asking for $10,000 budget. She said she believed, we'd have to discuss with the selectmen, but she thought probably that we wanted to support it. And she needed to check if there was any money left in the planning budget funding. And I don't know if Lauren had a chance to look on the spreadsheet, but so we'll be asking for $10,000 at the selectmen meeting. That's going to be one of the things we're going to ask for. And the public outreach process. So I know we talked about last time, coming up with a list of questions on the website, and then, list up to 5 possible recommendations. So we'll probably, I don't know if we want to try to get that rolling before the meeting so we can kind of say it's live, or just say that's the plan at the selectmen's meeting. I don't know if anybody wants to discuss that. I know we spent some time talking about it last time.
Is this what Jason sent out ahead of the meeting? Like his draft communication? Is that what we're?
No, that was a newsletter. Last meeting, we agreed that we were going to publish regularly a newsletter in blog format that would live on the town website. This would, for the purpose of providing a open, easily readable story of what we were doing to as opposed to have to go meeting minutes and try to piece everything together. And that would be on the website. It would be on the town website. It would be published on Facebook, on the selectmen's page, on shareable so people can see it, and hopefully really get in following what we're doing to try to counter things that we had seen in the past with poor communication and the failed school referendums, stuff like that.
Okay. But was there a timeline to start posting that blog?
Yeah, unfortunately, I was supposed to get it out last week. Work was really busy in addition to the short week, so I didn't get it out, and I got it to you guys today. So I would hope that we would say that we can modify and add on things that we've talked about today and go live with it after today's meeting. That would be my hope.
Okay.
For the open poll, logistically, how hard is that to set up, and how do we go about doing it? Lauren, I think you said it's software we have on the town's backend that's easy to do, and then it will collate the data.
Yeah, it's through the town's website, and it's it'll probably take me about an hour just because it's kind of cumbersome to create. But it's not anything that's, we don't have to pay a third party. We don't have to do anything crazy. I just need your questions and then the format that you would want the questions in, if we're doing a rating scale or if we're doing open-ended.
I think we agreed on questions last time. However, the document that I had typed the questions up in, I can't find it, and I didn't see it in the minutes. I didn't think they were important to put in the minutes, so I didn't comment to it.
I think it was just top 5 and why.
Yeah, and why is the important part, right? Because we want tangible. Why do you want to see it become a Center for Interdisciplinary Fairy Studies or whatever stuff like that.
I think that's in Guilford, I'm afraid.
No, that's the Dragon Academy.
Got it. Okay, so in terms of, so can we get that going prior to the next selectman meeting so we can announce it at the selectman meeting, or is that?
Yes. Lauren, I can get you the questions or exactly how the questions should be formatted by tomorrow.
Great.
Yeah, Lauren, you mentioned you're on bed rest. Are you able to do that? I don't want to make your schedule for you. I know you got a lot of stuff going on.
No, I mean, I'm working and I'm bored, so.
Okay. Not mutually exclusive, but okay, yeah. If we can get it that way, so when we go to the selectmen meeting, we can say, and we've got the questionnaire up, and we'll get some press, or yeah. So we can pull that off. That'd be great. And it's going to be in the form of an Excel spreadsheet, Excel questions, right? So each one will be sortable.
The results, yes.
Yeah. So each of the
Yep.
5 and a cell, and we'll.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think I signed up to write a macro to parse all of it.
I do remember that. I don't know if that made the minutes, but it should have.
It didn't.
I left it out of the minutes just in case.
So yeah, that'll be. It'll be
Somebody will use data analytics to parse the data as it comes in. We can put them in a minute.
Yeah, we'll find. Okay, good, excellent. Okay, and so I think that's probably our public outreach initially, our effort, and we'll probably try to get to the newspaper. I'm sure they're starved for news. With the beach parking, I'm sure is going to be rising quickly to the top when we get some warm weather out here. Okay, so then the other is so we're on for the morning meeting, June 8th of the selectmen meeting. And what time is that currently? What time are those?
It starts at 8 and I put you guys at the beginning of the agenda. So, I would say you'll probably be on by 8:10, 8:15.
And that's just Graham. That's just you, or do you want us to support you, or how is this? How do you want to work this?
The more the merrier. I mean, it's a Zoom meeting, right? It's kind of strange not being there, so it's going to be like this. Who's the moderator of the Board of Selectmen meetings? Lucky you. So do you
Lauren, do we become panelists if we show up to support Graham, or are we just guests that are in the audience?
I will promote you to panelist only for your item. So you won't sit on the whole meeting, but you will be, visible when it's your turn as a committee.
Got it.
Let me chime in here. The Board of Selectmen loves the public to be able to see who's serving on these committees. So if it's at all possible for you to tune in for 15 minutes or so, I would encourage you to do so. It's certainly not necessary. If you do tune in and you have something to say, the selectmen would love to hear from each and every one of you. Especially if you don't agree with what your chairman is saying, that makes it exciting.
But Phil Chamberlain, Phil would have been that guy, but I think he moved to North Carolina. So
yeah. Look, the selectmen are just a conduit, really, for you to be speaking to the public about what you've learned so far, about what your future initiatives and actions are going to be covering. So we're sort of just a 5-person representative sample of the public. We hope the public is tuning in and also benefiting from hearing what you've learned so far. So it should be an honest and open dialogue. You don't need to have answers. You don't need to all be in complete agreement by any means. It's a check-in moment. It's a chance for the selectmen to get a feeling that you're proceeding down the road the road that we thought we laid out for you in the mission statement. So it's not a test. You're not going to be graded. It's just a chance to check in and make sure we're all have this similar set of expectations about what's going to be happening.
Perfect. So in terms of format, do you want is PowerPoint the preferred method or just a Word file, or is there any limitations or restrictions?
I'm going to let Lauren answer that from a presentation point of view. I don't think we care. Lauren may have some ideas about what works best or what she's most familiar with.
I mean, PowerPoint tends to work best, but really anything is fine because I'll just share my screen.
So we'll send it to you so you have it, so there's no
Yep.
potential.
Is there an existing Madison, town of
Like a
Madison
template?
template? Yeah,
Yeah, I can email it to you.
great.
Okay.
Make sure you get
That way
logo.
we can format, we can fit it into into how somebody else has decided to make it pretty.
Perfect. So I don't know how much detail we want to go into the history of the project, or is that a known thing, Al? What do you think? How much? Well,
I would probably start your history with the mission statement that the selectmen handed you.
Yeah.
As opposed to getting into the 70-year history of the school building. I don't think this is the right moment. I don't think that's necessary at this moment.
Yeah.
Certainly, you should remind the public about the lease that has just been renegotiated. Lauren, is that lease fully signed by everybody at this point?
Yes, it is, and we've received the first installment of payment as well.
Yeah. So Graham, you may want to cover that, or you may want to ask Peggy to cover that.
Yep.
Sort of not within your jurisdiction, but
right.
it's certainly a relevant development since the selectmen last met with you on this. So I think that's useful. The history of the committee is important, not the history of the school.
Got it. Do you want to go into the air search? Is that's kind of a pivotal thing? I don't know if everyone quite understood that. What do you think, Al?
Yeah, to me, I think we should mention it by all means. Getting into the details of what's involved, I don't know that any of us are terribly knowledgeable or comfortable with explaining all of the ins and outs of an air search. I know we, the selectmen, are unfamiliar. We've never done one before. And unless one of your committee members is familiar with it, I don't think we should get in a whole lot of detail.
Okay. I mean, we do have an attorney.
Yeah, will town council be at the selectmen meeting?
No.
Okay.
Not unless you think it's merited. I'm not sure at this point the town council has anything to tell us about the air search. Lauren, if I'm behind the times, let me know here, but I don't think there've been any definitive findings or developments at this point. So I think to acknowledge that it's underway is probably more than enough. Lauren, is there any update that?
No, there's nothing new, just that they're still, going forward. They're still trying to find the errors if there are any, but I don't have any conclusive information on that.
Yeah,
I think I saw a name. I saw an email, something to the effect that they were on the track of a new name, unlike the princess. I don't remember the name. It was like a local name.
It's a nephew or a great nephew.
No, there's nothing new. Just that there's.
Who's that?
I just heard myself echoing. So yeah, there's a name. It's a nephew or a great nephew, but that's the last I heard, is that they're still tracking that down. So I don't have anything since then.
Okay. So is it safe to say we've been told there'll be a favorable resolution to this? At some
Every
point?
indication is that it's going to return in our favor, and this really won't go anywhere, but they still have to do the due diligence.
Got it. Okay, so that's just that cursory, and no, it's not going to be the deal breaker, but it's a process to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, Graham, I would suggest you be very careful in not making it appear like we know it's going to come out uncomplicated, because we just don't know that yet.
Right.
It's in the hands of the attorneys, and I think that's the update at this point. I think we should understand the timeline from the attorneys because it impacts, I know, some of the other items you're working on. So
Right.
maybe, Lauren, if there's any update at all we need from the attorney, it's just any insight as to the timeline.
Yeah, and Peggy, I talked to Peggy yesterday, and she indicated that she was going to prod them and hopefully have some kind of update for the 8th.
I think if we have to say something about it, we can say the committee is moving forward under risk that this is not that, or the committee has moved something to the tune of, the committee is moving forward, under notified risk that all of our work could be void or something like that. Probably more wiggle words than that.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to make it sound like we're risking that 10 grand potentially at risk there.
With limited risk.
Right. Yeah. Oh, well, hopefully Peggy comes through with some kind of update between now and the 8th.
Well, the only real risk is that they want to buy the property. Which kind of fixes things.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
I think the piece that is fair market value, right? Or something like that.
yeah, I mean, I assume, I don't know if anything has changed in light of the recent situation, but the general's residence is moving forward. So apparently some people think high-end residential in Madison still makes sense, as far as I could tell. So the dog park is also out there as a big plus. Okay,
So Graham, I would suggest you plan a presentation of certainly no more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The Board of Selectmen may allow the public to ask questions if time allows and if the questions are reasonable. And probably, Graham, you should answer first, but if somebody else on the committee has some expertise, it's certainly okay to ask them to respond to a question.
Sure, absolutely. And then we'll just discuss the public outreach part that we're explaining that we're going to have the website up, and it'll, so let's just kind of publish that and let people know that there's an opportunity for them to chip in what they want. Okay. Yeah, so 10 minutes.
It's entirely possible that you would get a question from the public that has to do with, now that we've experienced this public health crisis, is this committee thinking even more broadly than it originally might have been thinking when you started about other possible futures?
That's why we're putting out an open-ended survey to get as much information we can.
Right.
We're going into this with an open mind.
That's
I mean,
a fine answer.
I think publishing Jason's newsletter in advance of this is going to be important because it's a very nice way of saying we really didn't get far with our brainstorming before COVID paused all of our conversations.
Is it important that we give them an overview of our process? So, look at feasibility study, the public poll, what we want to do to narrow choices, getting that feasibility study. Do we want to do the real estate RFP, then narrowing choices to the public and putting out another public poll? How do we make decisions? And then does it eventually go to referendum? Is that a standard town process, or is it sort of do we have to define that and tell them? Because eventually, I guess at some point we just have to say, which means we need money for a feasibility study.
I'll just answer as one person, and I'll probably be saying the obvious, but I think reminding the public or telling the public what the process is open, honest, and transparent. And you may not, as a committee, know exactly how you're going to carry out each step, but to remind us of why you're in existence and where you're headed and how you're going to go about it, it's all, to me, very good, and it's part of this progress report.
Graham, if you want to, I'll put together a slide and send it over.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Outlines that process.
Yeah, I have, I'm marking down the bullet points, and I'm keeping it to a bullet points, and I'll do the same.
Sure.
But I have mission, status, lease agreement, errors, how you want to present it, process steps. And then under errors, you could talk about the possible timeline for conclusion, but it's really, that's a Board of Selectmen, really, that's a Board of Selectmen charter. And then committee is still moving forward. I mean, that's what I have so far. You could add to it, but I'm just keeping track over here also.
So, I mean, we mentioned the RFP. I mean, I guess that's not necessarily the way we're head for real estate, but I mean, I think that's likely. I mean, it could be a town use. I mean, unlikely, but.
Are you, when you say RFP, you're not talking the engineering?
No, I mean, putting out a developer RFP, similar to what was done in Academy.
Yeah, okay.
You know, but then you get into the nuance of that process versus just a straight sale of the property. You know, I mean, and how we figure that out, because it could be, you know, and how, you know, someone wants to just buy the school at market rate, or someone wants to develop it, you know, and how do you write an RFP that covers either one of those eventualities, because they're kind of different animals.
I leave it open, not open, but I keep it at a high level for this meeting. I mean,
Yeah, I agree. I just say, you know, there's maybe a potential, don't even say RFP, maybe a, you know, property disposition or whatever.
I have a question. May I?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. This is the 2nd of June. The meeting is the 8th. This is logistics. Should we approve that whatever, Graham, are you going to be the collector of all this for PowerPoint? Who's the keeper of the keys?
Yeah, and I'll send it to Lauren, probably.
Okay. Do we approve anybody's going to add to that and say, here's the information and go do? Or do we need another meeting to approve the presentation? That's all I'm asking.
I would say that somebody could submit, and please correct me if this is not legal, then that we have to do this in public. I would say that we should submit the PowerPoint to everybody for review. If you don't have comments back within 48 hours, then you have implied approval to the PowerPoint that you have no comments. And then Graham is responsible for just forwarding it through.
Right. So the fact that it's Tuesday night, and I'm sure Lauren's going to want it before crack of dawn. So I got to plan on trying to giving it to her noon on Friday. So reduce her stress level.
Yeah.
So that means it's due in the next 15 minutes. So, well, I guess tomorrow night we got to get it, whatever we're going to draft out tomorrow night, and then, you know, end of day Thursday, we'll, you know, hold comments, and then we'll finalize it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I have a light week at work this week, so I may be able to peel off during the day, guys, to help out if anything need be.
I'm actually typing in something that I guess we could send this out now. I'm not saying this is it. I'm just saying you know, got to do something, type something. Either that or Cecily's going to put me back to work outside.
How many yards you got left in that pile, you think?
Oh, don't even go there. I think out of 32 yards, We're
Holy.
down to about 11 to go.
32 yards of what, mulch?
Yeah, there is 22 plus 10 yards of whatever. It's,
You're lucky it hasn't rained in 2 weeks.
oh, man. And
That's
she's,
Good for you. That's the good work.
than me.
You didn't want to do the stone mulch like the neighbor around the corner there?
the what?
The neighbor around the
Oh.
corner has got stone mulch, his whole
Oh,
front yard.
yeah, yeah.
White stone.
Yeah, I know. I think there was one night we were both hurting.
Okay,
I'm
so if
typing, I'm
you,
not-
yeah,
I'm
so if
not
you
in
get
it.
something out tonight, then we can, so we'll have more time
Yeah,
to comment on Thursday. We just have to bless it on Thursday. So any comments by the end of the day Thursday?
I'm just typing what I have, so, okay, so I mean, it's all yours.
Okay, Graham, so what did you say the date for this presentation was to go out for comment?
Well,
Tomorrow?
we need, yeah, end of day Thursday comments, final comments are due end of day Thursday, the 11th. And then, so we'll shoot to get it to Lauren by midday on the 12th. I'm sorry, I'm looking on calendar, I'm looking at this next week. So it's the end of day for the 4th. And then we'll shoot to get it to Lauren by midday on the 5th for an 8 a.m. Board of Selectmen meeting. I put a reminder to be at 7:30.
So Lauren, you sent out a
A Zoom invite for the Board of.
no. She sent out a PowerPoint.
Yeah, I
Oh.
sent you guys a PowerPoint template and I just did the first intro slide for you and then the slide about your charge.
Great. I am I'm currently uploading that to our Google Drive, guys.
Yeah, and I'm just about ready to send out, I just sent out the approved minutes and I'm sending out our notes from tonight. So, hold on. I'm just doing it, since Lauren just sent out the template, I'll just send out the bullets of what we just mentioned and add to it as you deem necessary. Okay, it should be in your inboxes. And just copy paste it and then just add to it. And I'm good to go. I'll have a summer scene next time. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay,
You-
I don't
you
want to
wanna
rush
actually have the
things.
mission- when we do the mission statement, do we want to actually have the mission statement? I don't know how long it is. Is it like a,
It's in there. The charge is
It's-
in.
Yeah,
I mean, do you want to have like a slide with the mission statement? Like,
It's already
I
there.
forget how long it was.
It's already there.
yeah, Graham, I also have, and,
Oh.
you know,
Here, I'm sharing my screen. It's already
Oh,
there.
okay. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I looked wrong.
yep,
Lauren already put this together because she's awesome and fast.
she's awesome and fat.
And bored.
On the drive, Curtis, if you need, like, where is it for newbies to the town, where is it, maps and such, it's all on the drive. So use it if you want, it's there, okay? If you can't find it, just send me a note. But I do have a satellite view. There's the, I guess some earlier pictures and, for people who don't know where it is, new people to the town.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to have some graphics.
yeah.
Beautiful. Well, let's see, other items. I think that's, let's see, looking at the agenda. No more public comment. Does anyone have any other items?
No,
No, I think is everybody, if everybody wants to submit comments to the thing that I wrote, I'm going to add on. I don't think anything from this meeting. I might add on and talk about a little bit more about our presentation at the Board of Selectmen. If anybody wants to comment or wants me to change anything, just send me a copy. And I'm assuming everybody has Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
So just turn on track changes and either put in a comment or make modifications as you see necessary. If I have an issue with anything, I'll contact you personally, and we can discuss. I'll probably just incorporate what everybody says because this is our voice, not just mine. So I just, if you want to send me comments, just go for it. And I guess, Graham, we can send over the newsletter thing to go to Lauren the same time we send the presentation on Friday.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So that can be up. And then Lauren, you're still going to link to town's Facebook page, share to the First Selectmen's page, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I'll do all that linking, and then we'll also do the push for the survey too.
Okay, and we'll get the survey stuff to Lauren the same time we get the PowerPoint.
Great.
So by Friday midday, we have PowerPoint.
Lauren, does that work for you? The midday noon for getting the stuff? Is that?
That's great.
And I'll send out the minutes. I'll try to get these minutes out tomorrow. And thanks. I have Lauren's latest statement on that, how we're going to describe. I forget what it was now. But the 1 minutes we just approved, but I'll have these minutes in there as draft. So I'll try to get that out tomorrow.
Great, thanks, Rich.
So speaking of minutes, I was trying to look back through minutes as I was writing this. We don't have any posted for March 10th. That was a meeting that I was not at. So is there something missing there on our behalf? I was looking at the
Rich,
You're on the
I
town
think Rich put
website
together
looking?
meetings.
yeah.
All right. I'll go back and look.
I got them.
I feel like I remember seeing those minutes, but they came much later. I think
Yeah.
they came right after, or right before our May 26th meeting.
I'm going to send them out right now. Yeah, 3 pages. Wow. Okay. Reply to all. Let's see. Okay, the minutes from March 10th I just sent them out to everybody. I think we approved it on the 19th of March, those minutes. I don't know, it's been kind of fuzzy since COVID hit, but I'm pretty sure they're on the 19th of March, we approved them. Anyway, should be in your inbox.
Thank you.
Well, actually, I'm not sure. I got an hourglass going here.
No, I got
I
that.
just got him.
Yeah,
Okay, all right,
It successfully went to space and came back.
okay. I'll make sure they're on the drive. I'm just trying to make sure that everybody can go to the drive. So I'll take a look. I'll clean up those folders, make sure it's aligned to what we're doing, so it's consistent.
thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
You're setting a high bar, Rich, for all of us.
Yeah, I seem to drive people crazy that way.
I can only imagine what's going to happen when the mulch is gone.
The what?
I can only imagine how efficient you're going to be when the mulch is all done.
Oh, Cecily gets a kick out of me. It's just, it's what I get for the military.
Got it. Okay, any other items anyone wants to discuss? Think we're good, so we'll make anyone wanna make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded?
What, yeah, it's 7, what time is it? Hold on.
6:40.
6:42.
We're getting very efficient in our,
Yep,
meeting.
and we started at 6:05, 6:06. Got him.
got it. So everyone set their alarm clocks for Monday morning, so we'll be bright and early, so. Oh, Laura, do you have to send us an invite, or how does that work? If we're appearing the Board of Selectmen?
I'll send you the attendee link. That way you don't come in as a panelist, you just come in as the general public.
Yep.
But I'll get that out to you guys.
Okay, then you just open it up to us when we're up, right?
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Take care. Thanks. Be safe.
Thank you. Thanks,
Bye.
Lauren.
Take care. Thanks for
Bye.
everybody.
Cheers.